Once again, we'll start with the supply, right? So after the finishing of shift in supply curve, we're going to start with the increase in supply. In which situation supply will be increased? Let's see one by one. Increase in supply to rise in the supply of commodity caused due to any other factor other than own price of the commodity. In the earlier case, we have seen that price was remained same, but other factor was changing. That is why supply was increasing or decreasing. But in this scenario, price is remain same, but other factor is changing. Other factor is changing. That is why supply is also changing. This is the major another factor. Let's see one by one. In this case, supply rises at the same price of supply remain same even at lower prices. So it leads to a rightward shift in the supply curve as seen in the earlier 9.8. 9.8. See, price was remain same, but supply changing. Supply is increasing. Supply is increasing. Right? See, in this case, we can understand with the help of diagrammatical presentation. Here is having y-axis, here is having x-axis, and here is having y-axis. When your price was 20, right? The supply was 100. Right? When price remains same, supply is increased from 100 to 150. It means your supply curve is moves to the upward side. It goes to the rightward side. From this side to this side, it goes to the rightward side. Right? So this is a simple example. Now in this case, why supply will be decreased? I can say like that. It's completely vice versa of earlier scenario. Decrease in supply refers to fall in the supply of commodity caused due to any other factor than the price of the commodity. Price was the remain same, but other factor was affecting on that supply. When price was 20, supply was 100, but when price was 20, supply was fall down. Price is the remain same, but other factor was changed. That is why it was affecting on the supply. See, in this case, again, you can understand with the help of graphical presentation. Again, here is having O-axis, here is having X-axis, here is having Y-axis. This axis indicates quantity supplied and this axis indicates price, right? Your price was remained same, 20, right? Only supply was changing. When price was 20, supply was 100. Supply was 100. When price was 20 again, supply was 70. It decreases. It moves to the leftward side. It leads to the leftward shift in the supply curve as seen in the 9.9 figures, right? So yes and yes, yes, S1 and S1. See, resulting in a leftward shift of supply curve from SS to SS1. So for that point, you need to write down SS and S1, S1 to show this, statement. Now, movement along supply curve versus shift in supply curve. Movement along See, what is the meaning of movement along supply curve? When the quantity supplied changes due to change in price. Quantity supply is changing due to reason of changes in the prices. But keeping other factor constant. In this case, other factor was remain constant. It leads to a movement along the supply curve. But what is the meaning of shift in supply curve? When the price supply change, when the supply changes due to change in any other factor. See, in this case, other factor was remain constant, but in this case, other factor was changes except one price was the commodity.
No price.
Right? Other factor was changing, price was the remain same. Now, how effect on the supply curve? The movement is along the same supply curve, either upward. You can say if it goes to the upward side, you can say it is an expansion. You can say expansion. And it goes to the downward side, you can say contraction. Right? So it could be happen in the movement along with the supply curve. But shift in supply curve, the shift in the supply curve is either rightward side, either leftward side, known as the decreasing supply. See, leftward side and rightward side in the earlier case. And this case, you can say leftward side. But in the movement along with the supply curve, you can say if it goes to the upward side, you can say expansion. It goes to the downward side, you can say contraction supply curve. Got it? You know, it's a little bit difference between the movement along the supply curve and shift in the supply curve. That's it. Now, what are the reasons behind that movement along in supply curve? It occurs due to increase or decrease in the price of given commodity. If price is decreased, either price is increase of the commodity, that is the biggest reason behind that movement along the supply curve. But when we talk about the shift in the supply curve, it occurs due to changes in the other factors. Other factor was changing. Like that, change in the price of inputs, change in the price of change in the taxes, change in the technology. Due to that reason, supply curve shifts to the leftward side and the rightward side. Other factor was changing other than price. Then change in quantity supplied versus change in supply. Again, you can see definition. When the quantity supplied changes due to change in price, but other factors remain constant. Now, when the supply changes due to change in other factor, the own price of the commodity, it is known as change in supply. Changes in due to changes in any other factor. In this case, other factor is changing, but in this case, price is changing. But other factors remain constant. Effect on supply curve. It leads to movement along the same supply curve, either upward, either downward side. It is also same rightward side, either leftward side. Reason, increase or decrease in the price of the commodity. Reason, changes in the other factors. Like that, inputs, taxes, and technology. These are the examples. Now, again, we can see expansion in supply versus increase in supply. Let's see. When the quantity supplied rises due to an increase in the price, keeping other factor constant is known as the expansion of supply. What is happening in this case? Quantity supplied rises due to the reason of increase in the price. Price is increasing, but again, your supply also increasing. So what is called that situation at the scenario? Expansion of supply. You can say, right? Now, increase in supply. Increase in supply refers to rise in the supply of commodity caused due to any factor other than own price of commodity. Increase in supply refers to rise in the supply of commodity caused due to any other factor. So we can understand with the help of numericals form. When price was 10, supply was 100. When price was 12, supply was increased. It means what? In this case, both are increasing. Now, in this case, price remains same, but supply is increasing. Right? Now, effect on supply curve. There is an upward movement along the same supply curve. Its movement is having upward side. Now, its movement is having rightward side. Reason, increase in the price of the given commodity and due to the reason of other factors like that inputs, taxes, advanced technology, etc. So almost these points are almost similar. These one points are similar. Effects and reasons are almost similar of all the scenarios, right?
So for expansion and increase the tabular presentation, do we have to make the graphs as well?
Not necessary when distinguish is given there.
Okay, just the
But
table.
yeah, if in that case, if any question asks specific short note, either long question is asked in the examination, write a note on this, then in this case, you need to write tabular form as well as graphical form, both,
Okay.
along with explanation with conclusion, right? Not only like the tabular form and graphical presentation. After that graphical
Yeah.
presentation, you need to write down like that. X-axis indicates quantity and O to Y-axis indicates price of the commodity. So now it moves to the upward side and the rightward side. It moves to the leftward side. You can show and you can explain with it properly,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
Now then, contraction in supply versus decrease in supply. Contraction is what? Decrease. Right? Both are almost meanings are almost same. When the quantity supplied falls due to decrease in the price, but other factors remain constant. Now, decrease in supply refers to fall in supply of commodity caused due to any other factor, other than price, In this case, price was remains same, but other factor was changing. That is why supply fall down, right? In this case, price is a major factor which is affecting on the decreasing of supply. Why? Because when price was 12, supply was 150. When price was fall down from 12 to 10, supply also fall down.
Hmm.
Right? It is happening in the contraction in supply. Now, effect on supply curve, there is a downward movement along the supply curve. So, movement is having downward movement
Downward.
and leftward shift. Then, reasons due to decrease in the price of the commodity and due to other factors like increase in the inputs, taxes, technology, etc. Price of the remains same, but due to the reason of taxes and inputs of raw material and advanced technology, so that is why supply will be decreased. Got it up to this?
Yeah.
Now, effect on supply curve due to changes in other factor remains same. Due to reason of other factors. Effect on supply curve. See, entire thing is remains same. In which case, if your keeping price remains same, right? In which case, supply increases or decrease due to the reason of other factors. Which factors? Inputs, advanced technology, etc., etc. Right? So now change in the price of other goods. Let's see. The quantity supplied of a given commodity depends not only on its price, but also on the price of other goods also. Increase or decrease in the price of other goods shift the original supply curve of a given commodity. See, increase in the price of other goods. When price of other goods rise, then production of such other goods becomes more profitable in comparison to a given commodity. Right? As a result, supply falls from OQ to OQ1, the same of C. You can take a simple example of tea, either coffee, anything. See, what was happened in this case? When price was O to P, your supply was O to Q. But due to the reason of changes in the price of other commodity and other goods, it was affecting on your goods and the supply. So your supply will be decreased. It moves from O to Q to O to Q1. O2 Q burden. Why? Because of the reason changes in the price of other goods. That is why your supply was decreased. It it moves to the leftward side, right?
Yeah.
Now you can say like that supply curve of given quantity shift towards left from SAS2. This is the SS2. This is the SS1 due to increase in price of other goods. Due to reason of increase in the price of other goods, right? So this is the simple example. Now it's a completely vice versa. Second one is completely vice versa. Let's see. Decrease in price of other goods. Fall in the prices of other goods makes production of the goods given commodity more profitable. Increase in supply from O to Q. Let's understand with the help of with graphical presentation. You can keep in mind this word and this word. Important. Are you getting?
Yeah.
Now see, here is your price was here is the price of O to P, then demand supply was to your O to Q. But when price was remain same, बराबर है, then supply was increased suddenly. Right? Supply of given quantity shift towards right from SS to SS1 due to decrease in price of other goods. Due to the reason of changes in the other goods, supply was increased. So that is why it moves to the which side? Rightward side. It moves to the rightward side. Now, change in price of factor of production. Price of factor production forms a major part of the cost of producing the commodity because with a change in, it means what? Increase or decrease in the amount payable to the factor of inputs. Tip. A price of the product of any commodity depend upon the how much cost is incurred and occurred for the purpose of manufacturing of that goods. If you are making this pen, and for that making pen you incurred rupees 100 rupees, then obviously you are keeping at least 20% profit from that pen. It means what? So suppose after some times that input cost is increased from 100 rupees to 150. So I cannot sell that product for 110. Obviously, I'll sell that pen more than 170 rupees because I incurred 150 rupees for making this pen. Right? So this is the important factor. Increase in price of factor of production rises in the price of factor of production increases the cost of production. When cost of production increases, then price also increases. If cost of production increases, price also increases and reduces the profit margin. Why? Because you spent more money, either you spent more amount for the purchase of raw material. Obviously, you will reduce your profitability margin.
Mm.
So, as a result of some OQ2, OQ1. Now, in this case, your here is having O axis, here is having X axis, and here is having Y axis. O to P axis indicates price, and O to X axis indicates supply of units. So now your price was remained same, right? But due to reason of increase in price of factor of production, right? Your supply was decreased. When you purchased O2 OQ quantity at the same price, but due to the reason of increasing inputs, that is called as purchase of raw material, your supply was reduced. So it shift towards leftward side, from SAS to SS1. It is called as leftward shift. It is called as leftward shift. It moves to the towards leftward side of the leftward shift. Then another example, decrease in price of factor production. Vice versa complete of this earlier scenario. When your O to x-axis indicates supply quantity, O to y-axis indicates price. When price was remain same, right? But decrease in factor of production, that is why your supply was increased from SAS to SS1. Got it?
Yeah.
So it is called as it moves to the rightward side as a rightward shift, right? Now again, this is another factor which is affecting on the price of the commodity, either supply of the commodity. If changes in the technological factor which is affect the cost of production, obviously, which directly influences the supply of commodity. Supply increases with technological advancement. Supply increases with technological advancement, whereas any degradations of technological reduces supply. Let's see how advanced technology, improved technology reduces the cost of production and raises the profit margin. Now we will understand with the help of graphical presentation. When your price was O2P, you supply O2Q. But after the using of technology, you manufactured more and more and more units, then obviously you will increase your supply from OQ to OQ1. It means your curve will shift from SAS to SS1. It moves to the rightward shift. It moves to the rightward shift. This is the major factor of technological factor which is affecting on rising in the productivity with the less cost, as well as with the rising in the supply with the less cost. Got it? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Now, degradation of technology. It's again vice versa. Technological degradations are complex and outdated technology. If you are using outdated technology, it leads to rise in the cost of production. If you use outdated technology, then it takes maximum cost for the purpose of manufacturing of commodity. So obviously will be charged my same price, but you are not able to supply more. See, your when you supply O2P, here is a P price,
Sir,
price
is
will
it
be reduced.
because of less productivity
Yes, that is the basic
degradation?
reason. That is the basic
Okay.
reason. Because if you are using less technology, poor technology, then you will, manufacture less quantity. And when you manufacture less
Okay.
quantity, then you will supply less quantity. So that is affecting on the supply. But price also remains same. right? But in the earlier
Yeah.
scenario, you was manufacturing O2Q quantity, but after that it was become old, and you are using as a old technology as a machinery. So your supply will be reducing because of the reason you are not manufacturing more commodity. So automatically your supply will be decreased. It moves to the leftward side. It moves to the which side? Leftward side, right?
Leftward.
So after that, using of outdated technology, your supply will be OQ2, OQ1. So it means what? SS2, SS1. The supply curve of given commodity shift towards left from SS to SS1 due to the degradation of technology. Got it?
Yeah.
Now again, change in taxation policies. Want to continue? The
Sir,
time
I
up.
have another class.
The time up. Just wait.